Welcome back, you guys. Today I have a very special guest, Gracie, and today we will be making delicious, amazing, fantabulous chocolate chip cookies. First, we got a big bowl, and then we got one package of chocolate chips. Second, we got 2 eggs and 2 sticks of butter. And now we have 2 1/4 cup flour, half a cup of granulated sugar, 1 cup of brown sugar, half teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. You also need a big stand mixer named Sally and your trusty little spatula. Next we added the salt. Next we're going to add the baking soda. Then we're going to add the flour. Then we're going to stir it. Make sure it's well combined, because you don't want one salty cookie and one cookie that has no baking soda. Okay, so we set the dry ingredients aside, and now we're going to add the butter. So you want to add the butter and mix it up for about 2 minutes until it's light and fluffy. Now we have to add our white granulated sugar, like a sugar waterfall. Our packed brown sugar, and our pure vanilla extract. You need a teaspoon, just remember that. If you add too much, they'll taste weird. You don't want chocolate chip cookies to taste weird. Okay, so we've mixed up almost all of our wet ingredients. Now we have to mix up our eggs, but first, crack them into a little bowl so you don't get any shells. 1 egg down. 2 eggs down. Don't forget to wash your hands. Done. Dry them off real well so you don't get salmonella. Nobody wants that. You'll go to the hospital and you will not be happy. Now let's add our eggs. We need to add them slowly, 1 at a time. You can crank it up to about 6, but that is the highest you would want to go. Only add 1 egg at a time until it is all mixed into this, because you don't want your mixture to become very wet. So once your little egg is mixed in, you add the other one. And then you let it mix. You only want to let it mix for about a minute or 2. Only until the batter is looking something kind of like this. That's what you want it to look like. Okay, now you want to scrape the sides of the bowl and mix it for another about 30 seconds. Because if you don't, you might have butter. And butter cookies are never tasty. Okay, now that you have all this mixed up, you're wet and you're dry, you're going to crank this up to 4. And you're going to add a little dry outside. So you're going to add a little dry. Just a little on the counter will not matter. You can get that later or you can just leave it. Now she's going to put in some. But before you do that, you got to make sure that there is no flour in your mixture, because you don't want it to get too dry too fast. Okay, so now you add that. All of it's fine. Just you might want to turn it down a little bit. Because your cookies Now you're going to wipe down the sides because yet again you don't want just flour cookies. Because like if you have flour cookies, they might crumble. And if you don't know, cookies should not crumble apart unless they're called crumble cookies. I don't know if that's a thing, but if it is, oh well. Turn it back on. You just don't want any flour. Now, let's move on to the most important ingredient. Now for the most important ingredient, like I said earlier, the chocolate chips. Can't have chocolate chip cookies without a knife. So what I like to do is sprinkle some and accidentally miss the bowl. And then you sprinkle all them chocolate chips in there. Remember, you want a whole bag. Close the blender, eat some chocolate chips, mix it up. Help your mother clean up the counter. Remember, kids, do not waste anything. Throw them in the garbage can. Check out your cookies. Turn them off. And you got deliciousness. Take a bite. Make sure they're not toxic. And then, scrape it down. I don't want nothing on there. Now you're going to get your cookie sheets and put some cookies on. Cookie dough is so hard to resist. Like every time you walk by, you're like, and then you're like, nom, nom, nom. And like, it's just like so good. And you just want to eat this, and it's so hard not to. And then you're like, I'm going to be a good girl. So guess what? We preheated the oven to 350. And now, we're going to put the cookies in the oven. It's a crazy concept. You open the oven. Very hot. Don't burn your little phalanges. Stick them in there. Make sure not to burn yourself like I'm about to do. Why is that going in? Hold on 1 second. Technical difficulties. Thank you. We use oven mitts if you're unsure. Set your timer to 10 whole minutes and let them bake. Our cookies are done baking. They have had plenty of not time to cool. They came out around 5-10 minutes ago. So you just want to get the cookies off the pan and put them onto a cooling rack and let them cool for a minimum 10 minutes. Got a butt.
They're a beauty.